Hey, what's up, guys? Just want to go over my first ever strongman competition. Kind of what led me to want to do it, and maybe give a few pointers on what to expect at your first strongman competition, and let you know how mine went. So I decided about November 2020 that I wanted to compete again. I've had an athletic background growing up, always competing in whether it be baseball, football, basketball, whatever it is. I've got a competitive nature. So after graduating high school, I had nothing to compete in for, I don't know, 7, 8 years, and I kind of had that fire built up over time, and was like, now we got to compete in something. And I stumbled across, might have been Alan Thrall, and just watching one of his YouTube videos, and got the websites for where to compete in this strongman sport. I've watched it, you know, growing up on like ESPN, World's Strongest Man, stuff like that. But I never realized that it was done at an amateur level. So I stumbled across that and started looking into it, and I bought my membership and signed up for my first competition. It was going to be in March of 2021. I made that decision in November, so 4 months before the fact. And I've been lifting weights consistently for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. Not totally dumb to what I'm doing, but not the smartest at what I'm doing either. Just kind of gung-ho lifting weights, trying to learn how to periodize training, how to get stronger. So I set my own plan 4 months out, and led all the way up to the competition that was coming in March, and I took every day seriously. I laid out, you know, the events, what I was going to train to get better at the events, and I tried to peak myself for that competition. I signed up in the open middleweight 220-pound class. At the time of signing up, I was probably 232 pounds. So I knew I had to cut 12 pounds in 4 months. And knowing absolutely nothing about how to do it, how to go about it, I started 4 months in advance cutting weight slowly. I started eating a lot of chicken and rice, cutting out bad foods, sticking to a diet, put myself in a caloric deficit, and ate right. And I started losing 2-3 pounds a week, just consistently. And then as I would watch my weight drop and think I'm dropping too fast, you know, I'd eat a little more. And then when I thought, oh, okay, I didn't lose as much this week, I'd eat a little less the next week. So anyways, over that course of 4 months, getting ready for that competition in March, I went from 232 pounds, and at one point I got down to 202 pounds. And about 2 weeks out before the competition, I think I was sitting around 207. So I knew then, I was like, well, I can eat. You know, I don't have to stay in this caloric deficit. I can eat pretty much, you know, how I want to eat. Because I was hungry in a caloric deficit. I'm naturally a 230, 240 pound guy. I like to eat, and I didn't like being in a caloric deficit. Who does? You like the results, but you don't like being hungry all the time. So I went over there and weighed in the day before that competition. It was in Springfield. The competition was Crown the King, USS Strongman was the I don't know what you call the governing body over that. There's USS Strongman, there's Strongman Corporation, and I went with USS Strongman just because it was the first website I went to, and I found the closest competition to where I live, and it was in Springfield, 4 months away. But I went over there and weighed in the day before the competition, and I got on the scale in blue jeans, a shirt, a hoodie, everything in my pockets, and 213 pounds. So I probably weighed the 207, 210 tops, well under 220, not knowing what I'm doing. But anyways, I got weighed in, ready to go, and went back to the hotel, getting ready for that next day for the competition to start. And anyways, I showed up there that Saturday morning. Like I said, I signed up open middleweight, 220-pound weight class. And there was 11 competitors that I was competing against. And I went over there to win, no doubt. I signed up to put myself back out in the competitive field to compete against people, but I didn't go over there to per se have fun. I went to have fun, but I went to win, and that's everything. That's me growing up my whole life. If we're playing a game, if we're in the fight, we're in it to win it. We don't want second place. We want to win every time we step out on the field, no matter what we're doing. So that's just my mentality. That's what I trained for 4 months leading up to the competition. And we'll go through each event and how they went, and how I placed in each event. And I'll tell you how my first competition played out.
Now, I don't know if y'all know this, but recently there was some tremors down in New Madrid, where the New Madrid Fault is.
Yeah.
But it wasn't an earthquake. It was Sam Barnett doing some strongman Saturday. Show them what we do from the Boot Hill, Sam Barnett. Come on, Sam. Lock it up.
Come on, Sam.
Lock it up. Good job.
All right, go, Sam. You got this.
Come on, Sam.
Yeah. All right.
All right, top of the box.
You got it, Sam.
Good setup, Sam, and then press. Beautiful.
All right.
Look at the Boot Hill proud.
Event here that you just watched, it was an axle press, keg press, circus dumbbell, and a box. That axle is 220 pounds. I practiced that event religiously. I bought an axle leading up to this competition, practiced it religiously. I didn't know how to continental clean or anything like that when I first decided to hop into this sport and found this first competition. So I started to try to buy the equipment, and I bought an axle to practice that religiously. And the keg, I didn't have a keg. The keg was 175 pounds in the video. I never touched a keg leading up to this competition. I didn't know how to pick the keg up, how to clean it. I didn't know if they wanted split hands, one hand on top of the keg, one on the bottom, both hands. I didn't know how that was going to go. I knew that the keg was going to be 175 pounds. And what I did was I went and got me some rocks on the side of a riverbank. And I started picking up and pressing rocks. And I knew that 175 pounds, I thought in my mind, no matter what weighs 175 pounds, I ought to be able to pick it up and press it with my strength. And boy, let me tell you, cleaning a keg is a skill. That big old round keg, that like the first time I ever touched it is what you see in that video. And it almost didn't go up. I got a little luck in there. I got it cleaned up and just somehow strict pressed it out. And moving on to the circus dumbbell, I ended up buying one of those leading up to this competition. The one in that video you see is a 12-inch circus dumbbell. I think it's 140 pounds. And all they had online that I could find leading up to this competition was a 10-inch circus dumbbell. So I bought one. And I naturally took to the circus dumbbell and thought, you know, I got pretty decent at it pretty quickly. So I didn't see any issues with getting the circus dumbbell. You know, I thought I had that one in the bag. I'll tell you what threw me off guard. You see me kind of lose my balance there. And I've learned this from more competitions that I've done. When you're outside on the clear blue sky and the sun's shining, and you've been training at home inside a gym or a garage, and you got a ceiling to look at, a focal point up there that you can look at, it makes your feet steady. And when you've got a clear blue sky and you're looking up into it, your eyes are going back and forth. And what your eyes are doing, your body's down there swaying, or your feet's kind of maneuvering around, and you lose a ton of power because you're not steady, and you ain't one unit there. You know, you're unbalanced. So I didn't know that at the time, but since then I've learned, if you're outside and you're training, or you got an overhead event outside, you train your overhead event outside looking at the sky every time. It makes a huge difference. Moving on to that box, the box was 150 pounds. I didn't have a box to train leading into this competition. I used the rocks that I had. I ended up going down to the riverbank, like I said, and I got me a 150-pound rock, a 183-pound rock, and I think a 200-pound rock. And I started picking those up and training those. They're rough, they're jagged, they're unbalanced, and I was pressing them, you know, leading up to this competition. So I thought, you know, a square balanced box should be no problem. You know, a keg should be no problem. But the keg about got me, as you've seen there. But I got first place in that event. That was the first event of the competition. I took first place in that event. I went through that pressing medley in 44 seconds. The guy who got second did it in 48 seconds. And the guy who got third did it in 54 seconds. I think the rest of the competitors didn't make it past the circus dumbbell. Not 100% on that, but a lot of people got to that circus dumbbell. And I think what got them was looking into that blue sky, because it seemed like a lot of people weren't worried about that circus dumbbell, just like I wasn't. But that blue sky threw them for a loop when you're looking up into that blue sky trying to get set, and your eyes are wandering. So first place on the first event, beat second place by 4 seconds on that. So going into the second event, I was very happy with that. Up next, we had a vehicle pull. We'll show you that now.
You got this.
Yep. 3, 2, 1, go. Come on, Mother.
Come on, Sam.
Come on.
Come on.
Straight up. Perfect. Start going down and sideways. Yeah.
Here you go. Get some movement.
There you go.
Get some movement going.
Small step forward. Small step forward.
Come on, Sam.
All right, Ray Barbaro's about to put on the harness over there on the Polaris.
Put back up. Put back up.
All right, this vehicle pull, I trained this out at a park. I bought me some ropes, some chains, and I just pulled my truck, and I pulled it once. I didn't have no problem with it, and a few weeks later, I put some weights in the back of my truck to try to weigh my truck down to make it heavier. Because we didn't know, or I didn't know, what we were pulling over there, how heavy it was going to be, what it was going to feel like. So I wanted to pull as heavy as something as I could as possible. So I weighed my truck down the next time, put 600-700 pounds worth of weights in the back of it, and went out my next training day that I had for vehicle pull, and I pulled it I think 3 times there. And then I had another training day leading up. I put, I think, 1,200 pounds in the back of my half-ton pickup. And I did a few rounds of pulling it there. But as you just seen, it's that vehicle pull. So they use the same vehicle for all the open class athletes. So the lightweight men, the middleweight men, and the heavyweight, super heavyweight, and none of the lightweights moved the vehicle. So we went into the open middleweights, my weight class, and I took 4th place on this event, and as you've seen, I barely budged the vehicle. I wasn't even sure if it moved, but 1st place in my weight class pulled that vehicle 7.5 feet. 2nd place pulled it 6 feet, and 3rd place pulled it 5 feet. After that, there was a 3-way tie for 4th place. I was in that tie, and I think we moved it like a foot, maybe. They give us a score. It wasn't a 0. We were on the board. So it was a 3-way tie for 4th place for me on that event. And they just, the vehicle was too heavy. Once the big boys got up there, the big heavyweights, there was some of them that couldn't budge it either. But once the big boys got up there and you got into the 275, 300-pound men, they could get it moving, and then they could take it down the course. The problem with us and the lighter weight guys, we couldn't get the wheels to turn over. We couldn't budge it. If you could get it moving, you could keep your feet chopping and keep it moving. I say that, but then, 1st place in my weight class pulled it 7 feet and they was done. So anyways, I'd got a 3-way tie for 4th place on the vehicle pull, and it was brutal just trying to get that big old Humvee to move. Up next, we've got the silver dollar deadlift, and I'll show you how that event went.
All right, Sam. 2 guys have done it before you. Now you got a match.
You got this. Go.
I have no doubt. Lock it out, Sam. Lock it out.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good job.
All right, the silver dollar deadlift. It's an 18-inch pull. You see the big boxes on the ends. Provides the extra whip in the bar. Gives the bar that extra bend. Never performed a silver dollar deadlift. I did some 18-inch pulls in training. Built me some boxes to put my weights on to pull from 18 inches. That way I could pull from that height leading up to the competition. But went in here to this silver dollar deadlift and took 3rd place. I pulled 650 pounds is what you seen there. First place pulled 740, and 2 people tied for 2nd at 700 pounds. I tried to pull the 700 and it wasn't there. I got, like I said, 3rd, 650 pounds, and that was that. The last event was stones, this 5 stone series. We'll show you that.
We've seen the 5 stones as possible. Come on.
Go,
Come to
Sam.
it. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Oh, you're killing it, Sam. Last one. Let's go. Let's go.
Go, Sam. You got it, buddy.
Oh,
Come on, get it. Get it.
just get
You got it. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Last event there was the stone series, 5 stone series. Took 1st place on that event. I did all 5 stones in 34 seconds. First time I ever touched a stone was that first stone you seen me touch right there. I didn't have any of those round stones, Atlas stones, to train with. Didn't buy any modes or nothing like that. Didn't go to no gyms that had stones. I trained stones with those rough, jagged river rocks that I went and got. Picking up those rocks and loading them on the back of my truck, or just picking them up and trying to extend with those. And, that's how I trained for it. I used what I had, or what I had means to get, and it worked for me. I like picking up stuff just off the ground that's laying there. It's about the purest form of strength that you can get. It's something laying on the ground, pick it up and put it on that shelf, and that's what those stones was for me. I went through there, did them as quick as I could. Like I said, I did 5 stones in 34 seconds. 2nd place did them in 40 seconds. And 3rd place did it in 47 seconds. And nobody else did all 5 stones. Everybody else failed before they got to the 5th one. Don't quote me, not for sure, but I think the weights on the stones, I think the first stone is 175, 2nd stone 220, 3rd stone 250, 4th stone 275, and the 5th stone I believe was 300 pounds. After I finished this event, I was tied in 1st place with somebody else, and this competition they put that if there was a tie, there would be a tiebreaker, a sledgehammer hold tiebreaker. I didn't know at the time, but USS, the governing body over these strongman competitions, actually, if you have a tie, they go with the person who has the most event wins in the competition, technically wins 1st place. But this competition had a tiebreaker, a sledgehammer hold. I found out that later anyways. Online, technically, I got 1st place. in this competition. It shows me first place online. But I lost in the sledgehammer hold and ended up taking second place overall. So I come back and tell people, you know, that story, and they're like, oh, well, you technically got first. No, I didn't. We had a tiebreaker. I lost the tiebreaker. We did a sledgehammer hold. They said it was 40 or 45 pounds. And the guy who tied with me went first. He did 1 minute and 37 seconds. I had nobody timing for me. I didn't know where I was at, but it was my turn. I went, and I got called for leaning back too far. At least once, probably twice. But I got called that second or third time at 1 minute and 35 seconds, and had to put the sledgehammer down. So I lost the sledgehammer hold tiebreaker by 2 seconds, which didn't feel good, but to say the least, it set well. The guy who was timing me, didn't know him at the time. I guess you could say we've become strongman friends. We still don't know each other real well, but we're in the same strongman community. We run across each other on Instagram. We speak. He called me for leaning back too far. The second or third time he had me. It just happened to be that he called me 2 seconds short of a first place win. So anyways, second place in my first ever strongman competition, and after competing at this competition, I was hooked. It's an individual sport. You know, it's all on you. You got to go out there, you got to perform. If you win, you win. If you lose, you lost. It's not your teammates' fault. It's on you. And I love that. It's all on you. That's probably my favorite thing about it, other than I love the rawness, the pureness of strongman. Picking things up, who can lift the most weight. It's real simple. I go out, I lift the weight. The next guy comes up, he tries to lift it faster or he tries to lift more. Who's stronger? But anyways, that is the first strongman competition I did. It's today is February 18th, 2022. So that's been 11 months ago, first one I ever did. Awesome time. They put on an awesome competition over there, Springfield, Missouri. And it's really all I got to say about it. Hope y'all enjoyed the video, and catch you later.